So you want to start a woodworking business and start selling your products, but you don't know where to start, or you don't have a big budget like I didn't back in the days. Well, that's my story as well. You are me a couple of years ago. I started out small, with no money and a small wood shop. In this video I am going to show you how I started my business, how I started growing and how I started making money on woodworking. And like every day, start with a good cup of coffee. I started out in my bicycle shed. It was small, very small. If I could guess, it was about 6 by 12 feet. The shed was filled to the top with this huge workbench. All my tools were stuffed in it. I didn't have the budget to rent a workspace. It's what I had to work with. I loved woodworking, building things out of wood, but soon I was out of room to store my products. It was then I thought of selling stuff. I started out on Marktplaats, which is the Dutch Craigslist. The products I sold didn't involve much woodworking. I scavenged thrift stores and car boot sales for stuff I could use to make home decorations. For example, this coat rack and towel holder are made of cigar making boards. The problem with those products was that I could only make a couple of these, as the cigar boards were used in a cigar making factory in Holland in the older days. These boards were getting hard to find, so I started looking on Pinterest. I looked for trending pictures of wooden home decorations, and I tried to find them in Dutch online stores simultaneously. So I found this single coat hanger made of a branch of a tree. It was my first product that really hit the bell. It sold like crazy and the orders kept coming in. The first month I sold like 300 of them for $5 each. I found the branches I made the product with in the forest, and I found myself scavenging the forest all day for fallen branches, as it is illegal to cut down branches yourself in public forests. So why I stopped making these coat racks? As I didn't have a big starting capital, I didn't have a lot of tools. As you can see, the back of the branch is flattened, so it could be placed flat against the wall. I didn't have a planer, so I used a small table saw to cut it down. As you can imagine, this is very dangerous and it almost cost me my fingers. One day I was sawing the branches, it slipped out of my hand and my forefinger slipped over the blade, cutting all my fingers. Luckily, the saw only hit skin. It was then I stopped making those. But I had made some money and I could buy some tools so I could start making some more woodworking based products. I bought the essentials. I have another video where I show you which tools I bought first to start my woodworking business. The bare essentials, you might say. With those tools you can do pretty much anything. It was also about that time we moved to another home. A much bigger home with a big garage which I could turn into my wood shop. My woodshop nowadays has a basement, a first floor and an attic. I'm still trying to figure out how to design my woodshop so it works best for me. I decided on the main floor, where I do all of my woodworking, are only the essential machines, so I can keep the most of my floor available, and so I make the most use of my workspace. With the machines I got by that time, I could do most of the work and could start to do some custom jobs. It was also around this time I started my online store Fennah.nl and really started to make an income. I will post a video about the start of my online woodworking shop, what my gameplay was, which by the way turned out to be very smart and effective, and how you can start an online woodworking store with a low budget and beginner tools. The money I earned with the store I started investing right back in the business. I was able to do that because I was working for a boss as well at that time. Which by the way is a very safe way to start your own business. I started buying stock like wood and hardware and some new and better tools. I finally got my planer. I gradually started buying the rest of the machines I needed from the money I made. I got myself a bandsaw, a table saw, a router, domino machine, drill press, etc. etc. With those machines at hand, I could start doing what I really wanted and dreamed about for years. It was a long time ago when I first saw Manor Wood make an epoxy table. I saw this video on YouTube and was flabbergasted about the looks of the table. I instantly knew that my goal as a woodworker was to start making those epoxy and river tables. Thanks MONEY Wood for the inspiration. I bought myself a big load of epoxy resin. I made some pages on my online store promoting the production of custom epoxy river tables. People started asking me for prices and I started making tables. And I started to sell. This is a custom table I built for a customer who wanted the river in the table to look like an actual river. She wanted the epoxy to be filled with stones, shells and a little fish. The table and the legs are made of oak. And this is another table I made for my stepdad, who wanted to gift it to my mother. Nowadays I make epoxy tables all the time. I recently stopped doing the custom jobs for epoxy tables and only make the tables I love and sell those. As you can see, I started my business gradually. I started small and grew over time. I got some tips for you if you want to start your woodworking business. 1. Start small. Start with the tools you have, and when you earn money, invest it to get some better tools. 2. Only make stuff you love to make. I made some custom projects for customers which I hated to make, and you'll lose interest if you do. In the beginning, you want to take on as much as you can to make some money. And that's fine, but when you get enough orders, stop doing the things you don't like to make. Only the stuff you love. 3. Start selling on easy platforms at first, like Craigslist or on Facebook. When you get bigger, start selling online in an online store or on platforms like Etsy. I also love to go and hire a stand at markets to sell my products in person. Those are the tips I would really recommend you to follow. It takes some time to grow, sure, but you get the time to do it your way, safely, without making a big investment. If you have a job, keep it on at first, purely to stay safe. If you need some advice on starting your woodworking business, leave a message in the comment section below. And if you didn't already, make sure to subscribe to my channel and hit the notification bell to get notified whenever my new videos are live. You got any requests? Do you want me to make or show you something? You want to see what I have in my shop or want me to talk about my tools? Let me know.